You ever finish a scary story and find it just sticks with you? Like long after you've closed the book? It's not about the jump scares. Nope. There's a powerful, almost alchemical formula at play. And today, we're going to break it down ingredient by ingredient.
To really get this, you gotta start with a foundational truth. And nobody said it better than the master himself, H.P. Lovecraft. He figured that fear isn't just an emotion, it's our oldest, most powerful instinct. And this idea that our deepest, most primal fear is of what we don't know, well, that's the bedrock for everything we're about to get into.
So, the big question is, how do storytellers grab that raw, primal feeling and actually weaponize it in a narrative? Well, it turns out there are three essential elements, two core ingredients, and one very powerful catalyst that can turn simple words into pure, unforgettable dread. Okay, so first up, let's understand the core ingredient. And it's not just any old fear. We're talking about a very specific flavor of it, that deep, biological, almost hereditary fear of what's lurking just beyond the campfire, just past the edges of our understanding. So Lovecraft's whole theory was that our oldest emotions are all tied to survival. Think about it. Early humans didn't get what storms were or disease or the vast, endless darkness. The unknown wasn't just a mystery. It was a source of real life-or-death danger. And our brains, they're hardwired to remember threats way more vividly than pleasure or comfort. That instinct, he argued, is still buried deep inside all of us. It's that subconscious programming that still makes the dark feel so menacing. It's like a hereditary echo of ancient dangers. All right, so with that foundation in place, Lovecraft believed the most powerful kind of story fear wasn't about, ghosts or werewolves. It was about something way bigger, something he called cosmic horror. Cosmic fear isn't about making you jump. It's about making you feel profoundly unsettled. It's that chilling, sinking feeling that humanity is just a tiny, insignificant speck in a massive, totally indifferent universe. You know that feeling when you look up at the night sky and you just sense something looking back? That's it. It's all about creating an atmosphere of deep, profound dread.
And this is where he makes a really important distinction. He wasn't talking about what he called mere gruesomeness, bloody bones, a murder hiding in the closet, a ghost clanking chains. That's just physical shock. For Lovecraft, a true weird tale creates an atmosphere of unexplainable dread. It hints that the laws of nature as we think we know them are fragile, and that our sense of safety is really just an illusion.
So at the end of the day, the plot mechanics weren't the most important thing to him. The real goal wasn't some clever story. It was to create a powerful, lingering sensation. The one and only test was, does this leave the reader with a profound sense of dread? That's it. But a creepy atmosphere of cosmic dread is only the first ingredient. For that dread to really hit home, we, the audience, have to actually care about what's happening. The fear has to feel personal. And that brings us to our second key ingredient, raising the stakes. Think of stakes as the story's bargaining chip. I mean, if a character has nothing to lose, they can just walk away from the whole mess, right? And if they can walk away, why should we care? For the fear to feel real, the consequences of failure have to be absolutely devastating. So how do you actually do that effectively? Well, here are 4 classic moves. First, you add a ticking clock. A deadline just instantly ramps up the pressure. Second, you tie the goal to something deeply emotional, like protecting your family. That gets the audience invested on a gut level. Third, force a character into a no-win situation, where they have to lose something important. And finally, and maybe this is the most powerful one, you get rid of plot armor. You make it clear to the audience that anyone can fail or even die. No one is safe. And you see this last point perfectly in the early seasons of a show like Game of Thrones. The audience had this genuine sense of danger for every single character. That anyone can die at any moment feeling meant the threat of loss was completely real, and the stakes were, astronomically high. All right, so we've got our 2 core ingredients, a foundation of cosmic dread and the tension of high stakes. But to really ignite this whole formula, we need a catalyst. We need something to destabilize everything and pull the rug out from under the audience. And that catalyst is deception. See, here's the things storytellers have going for them. As an audience, we're basically wired to trust the person telling us the story. It's like this unspoken contract. We just assume our guide is giving us the straight dope. So what happens when that contract is broken? This is where one of the most powerful and deeply unsettling tools in all of fiction comes into play, the unreliable narrator. This is when the storyteller decides to turn our trusted guide into a potential enemy. And this can play out in a few classic ways. You've got the madman, like Patrick Bateman in American Psycho, whose grip on reality is so flimsy we can't trust a word he says. Then there's the innocent, like Forrest Gump, who sees the world in a simple way but might not really get the full picture. And of course, there's the prevaricator, a narrator who is actively and deliberately lying to us, setting us up for a killer twist. And look, this isn't just a gimmick for a cheap twist ending. Using an unreliable narrator forces us, the audience, to become detectives. It makes us second-guess every single detail. It adds all these layers of complexity, and it makes the entire experience so much more engaging. We can't just sit back and consume the story anymore. We have to actively try to untangle it. Okay, let's put it all together. Let's reveal the alchemist's formula. This is how a storyteller can take the base metal of a simple idea and transmute it into the pure gold of unforgettable fear. So there it is, the whole formula laid out. It starts with the primal element, cosmic horror, which creates that chilling atmosphere. Then you add the active ingredient, high stakes, which makes us care, gets us really invested. And finally, you throw in the catalyst, deception, which destabilizes the whole thing and makes us question the very ground we're standing on. When you mix all three of those elements together and you do it just right, you create something truly potent. The result isn't a story that just scares you for a second. It's a story that burrows into your mind, one that echoes and resonates and becomes completely, utterly unforgettable. So, we have the formula. We know how these stories work their dark magic. But that does leave us with one final haunting question, doesn't it? If these stories are so perfectly designed to terrify us, why on earth do we love them so much? Something to think about. You ever